Yeah, people don't know. Yeah. Fela in Malawi, back again. And today I've got another special guest. I'm not gonna pan because you can see him on the screen. I'm here with the one and only Liwu. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Good to hear from you, man.
Rwanda, right? Sunny Rwanda, right?
What's that?
So you're joining us all the way from Rwanda, right?
That's correct.
Awesome, man. How are you doing today, this fine day?
Man, it's blessings, man. Blessings on blessings. Family is good. That's all you could ask for, man. God's keeping us healthy, and very, very, very well.
Awesome. So you are married. You've got a wife and a child.
I've got a wife. Yes, it's me and my wife. It's a two-man team. One man and a woman team.
two-person team.
Okay, man. So I wanted you to tell me, like, who is Liwu, bro? Give us some insight into who you are as a person.
Yeah, man. Liwu is a simple guy, regular guy. I don't know what comes first. I'm probably a son first, mom and dad, lovely parents. Mom is a Mayamvano at our Presbyterian church. Dad is in Kulampingo, is a choir master, born in a Christian family. Little brother is a medical doctor now, so really proud of him. I'm a Christian, got into the faith for real when I was 17. And my life took a different trajectory after that. My worldview really just spun on its head. I am an engineer. I work as a software engineer. So I write code, build apps, working on an interesting video game for mobile. Hopefully that comes out next year. And I'm a rapper, so that's just some of the things I do. And apart from that, I'm a family guy, lovely wife. And yeah, man, just try to like be true to all the different parts of myself without trying to be one thing more than the other.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. Your back just timed out. So that I think that's where we need to start. So basically what you're saying is you're a multifaceted individual. You don't categorize yourself as just one thing. You do everything and do it at the same time without having to be labeled as one thing, like just multifaceted. Would that be a correct way to say how you envisage yourself?
Correct.
And based on that, because as a disclaimer, which I have to make, is this is the first Fela in Malawi, where the interesting Malawian is not in Malawi. As we had said, you're in Rwanda, so you're doing your software and coding that side.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And you've been there for how long now?
Just over a year now.
And how is that compared to Malawi? Because obviously, in your album.
So I speak about myself in my album a lot. I speak about my experiences. I try to be as authentic as I can. Obviously, a lot of the stuff is, a little bit embellished. I try to relate with other people as well who might have the same experiences. So it's not 100% like, everything that goes on with me. For instance, I'm not a medical doctor, but I have a lot of friends who are medical doctors who've come back from, their masters in the UK or whatever, and all they have in the hospitals is Panado. All they have is a painkiller, and they have to choose who to give like a drip. And so those are some of the frustrations that I also felt personally. But obviously, I wanted to be able to be relatable with somebody who is maybe someone different from my profession and stuff like that. So. I do touch a lot about some of those frustrations, being foreign trained or whatever, and coming back home and just to find that the system just really almost praises mediocrity. You know what I mean? It almost like rewards mediocrity, and anything that is of excellence or of like really high standards is frowned upon as being zamadama, or like who you're trying to be, what are you trying to change. It's, I just try to embody some of those frustrations, and unfortunately, you probably have a lot more specialist medical practitioners outside Malawi than you do in. So that just tells you something, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. So before we get to that, I wanted to say, so what is your experience in Rwanda compared to Malawi? How has that shift been?
I mean, it's what, 3 hours away, so it's not really that. It's not like you're staying like in a different time zone or anything like that. So Malawi is still very, very close to. I could reach on. I'm on the phone with like my peers, my family, my friends all the time, and in real time as well. So obviously from like a professional point of view, there's a little bit more of a drive, like a government drive, or even just like a little bit more intention to build an economy around tech and around like innovation, and they don't just say it, they're like really serious about it. So it kind of feels good to like feel appreciated, to be in a place where like, hey, there's this app idea, me and my friends, he's an illustrator, I'm an app builder, we make a game, do you think this could work? And they like give you an audience, right? Versus like, Zana is, like that's really just been one of the you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm laughing because the guy who's sitting off screen, Polycop, he's a motion graphics designer. Yeah, motion graphics designer. So like he always says he struggles to explain to people what he does, because you say motion graphic designer, and then someone's like, okay, so what do you do? And then it always ends up with him. I've heard him be like, he's always like, I do cartoons. And they're like, oh, okay. So that's like, it's actually way more complicated than that. Like I've sat in on these guys since they started helping.
Yeah. People don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I've sat in on these guys working on stuff for like clients, and literally when they say they have to like do stuff frame by frame, like he was explaining to me what it takes to make a stick man move from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen. It was basically like he had to map out the entire body, and every point had to move separately, frame by frame, right? So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, okay, you guys should actually be charging more than what I do, because I just write stuff. It doesn't take me a line by line, every line, change the page and start again, So, I mean, that's a very interesting point that you bring up, because
100%
appreciation is very important. And I think we're going to have a lot of conversations today, but we'll probably be all over the place. But it's interesting for you to say that just feeling appreciated is important. I think it's important for life. What do they call it? Mental health, work-life balance. Because there are times where, like in Malawi, I say like, I'll give you an example from my perspective, where I was asked. This is not in the job I'm at. It's a different job. I was asked to see the changes that were made in a document, legal documents, about 100 pages. So I go to my office and I run a compare through Microsoft Word. Very simple thing to do. You go to review, you click compare, you click the old version of the document, you click the new version of the document, it merges the documents together, and then it shows you what's been changed in the versions through track changes, right? So this was coming from someone who had worked in an international law firm before. Yeah. So now I'm in Malawi and I'm like, everybody should know what a compare is. That's how I was looking at it. You know what I mean? So I go there, I come back and I show my boss. I'm like, hey, here you go. I'm done. And he's like, you're lying. I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm lying? He's like, it's a 100-page document. Yeah, I did a compare. He's like, it's impossible. There's no way you read both of them twice, line by line.
He expected you to print it off, right?
Expecting me to print it off and then literally go page by page.
He expected you to print it off. Yeah.
Print the two next to each other and be like, lick the pen and then, here and then here. And I'm like, no, here it is. You can see the changes in markup. And he's like, and he didn't believe me. Literally didn't believe me. I had to go do it manually. Yeah. And it was one of those things whereby it's like, if we actually just embraced some of the tech that's there, what would have taken several hours, I'm able to do that in 2 minutes, because compare as a function on Word has been out there for I don't know how many years. It really has been. And we sometimes just through Makani, I would say, we want to, what do they say? Cut your nose to spite your face. Like you literally don't want to embrace something that will make your life so much easier simply because you're not used to it. So
that sounds like a bougie reference, man. That sounds like a bougie reference. That's not something that I hear every day in the street.
Oh, is it? It's a cut your nose to spite your face. No, man.
I'll tell you what, though, I think that the tide is changing. And I think that the talent that's in Malawi, okay, it's gonna break the net, okay? If you know what I mean. Like, sorry for my like fishing analogy, but there's just so much talent in Malawi. You talk about like motion graphics, you talk about illustration, you talk about even coders and programmers. There's just so much talent. Eventually, it will break the net. And I mean, a friend of mine was calling me, and I won't mention which ministry, but a friend of mine was calling me today and say, "Yo, some ministry approached him today." Actually, on Friday, to say that they're really struggling with a very key government deliverable because they really underestimated the tech that has to go into it. And they're asking for a solution within like a couple of weeks. And so those type of pressures, right, it's just in a matter of time. Because if you look at Kenya, right, if you look at East Africa, Uganda, bro, like Uganda is buzzing. Uganda is like proper buzzing. And then, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about Lagos. So that creativity and that tech and that vibrance, it's just a matter of time before it breaks into Lilongwe, into Blantyre, and it's like it's gonna be late. It's gonna be late for the OGs.
I think so. But like you're talking about talent, you're talking about buzzing, and I mean, I've been bearing the lead. I know a lot of people are gonna watch this episode and they just want to hear about your new album, man. So because in my view, I think your album is it's brimming with talent, creativity. The production quality for one is amazing. Like that's something which really stood out to me. I'm like, it's very rare where like I listen to an album that's made by someone from Malawi and I'm not, sometimes you listen to the album and be like, yo, that's good. I just wish it was a bit crisper. I just wish it was a bit cleaner in the way it was produced. It would have been a bit better. You know what I mean? I couldn't have those, I didn't have those nitpicks when it came to yours. Like everything just sounded so intentional and so good. Like, I mean, you made reference to the bourgeoisie reference, made me think of the song.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, you spoke about how, Go, I think as a song, talked about how you've had friends who are doctors and all that. So I want to just take it from the name of the album to the body of work. Please walk us through it because I'm a big fan. I listened to it prior to you saying you wanted to be on the show, on the podcast, and I listened to it again just to make sure I was, fully conversant with everything. So can you please walk us through Alinafe as an album? What exactly brought it through, and what exactly are you trying to tell us through it from the artist's perspective?
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I think I really, really appreciate the love. I mean, you and I have chopped it up before, like even last year. And I love what you're doing, putting artists on, putting creatives on. And for me, even being here on your platform, I know there's like, some of your mad hardcore fans that are listening, and it's just really a privilege for me. The feedback has been crazy. I just want to thank everyone out there who's listened to the album, who's downloaded it, who's ripped it. I don't care, bootlegged it, whatever. As long as you listen to it, you shared it on WhatsApp. I get people hitting me up, be like, "Hey, I haven't heard your album, but my dad saw you in the paper, listened to the album, liked it, so now I have to listen to it." So I mean, it's just crazy feedback that we've had, and I'm really, really grateful. And to me, I think, as you said, like the most important thing for me was to be true to the music, and like give you good content. I have guys who are from like Germany and Austria that are like buzzing to the album, and they're like, I don't know what you're saying, right? I don't really
you have a lot of Chichewa in there.
Yeah, but it's fire though. Like the music is fire. That I could feel your pain, I could feel your joy, I could feel all of that stuff. And for me, that was the most important thing I wanted to convey is the emotion, because emotion's emotion. Like you don't have to like me as Liwu, as my personality, but if you can relate with my emotion, like then I'm living rent free in your mind, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I felt like just relaying those stories was important, and being true to the art form. That's why we worked extremely hard to get the sort of texture in the music that we was looking for. And to me, Alinafe is just me. It's me as Alinafe. My name is actually Alinafe. My middle name is Alinafe, right? But for a long time, I kind of like, I skirted around it. You know what I mean? It's one of those names that you get given. And, when you're in high school and when you're a teenager, it's like not cool enough, right? You go with your Western names.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But now that I'm a OG, I turned 30 this year. I'm like, who am I kidding? This is who I am. Like, I wanted to be true to myself, my flaws, my weaknesses, my story. And I didn't want to, like, be a version of something that, maybe the media or like the fans out there are looking for. They're looking for like this rabbity rapper, this guy with chains and bling, and like that's not who I am. So I just I decided to be Alinafe, and I think that's why it resonates so much with so many people.
It did, man. Like, even from the first track, I'm gonna keep talking about it because you don't understand how much high school hit me, dude. Like that first verse, I was literally just like, this man is spitting and he's spitting my truth, bro. Like there's so much about it where it's
Amen.
like, and what I love is the fact that you guys, and I'm going to tell anyone who's watching, please listen to this guy's album because you'll be taken on a journey. And I think that's something which not enough people do. I was taken on a journey because I'll tell you about the stuff that resonated to me, but like it was, you were, so I'll give my understanding and you can jump in where you think maybe I'm not properly representing things. But like basically on that high school track, it was basically talking about how the frustration some people feel about they go to a certain school or they live a certain life and they're judged for how they sound, how they talk. And it's like you either get over it because that's who the person is, or you understand that, that's how they are. It's not Zamatama, as you said. It's more about this is how I've been brought up and I can't change that. But then equally so, second verse from the opposite side is like, yo, I'm a dude from the ghetto, and I can't even land a girl from high school because she don't like how I talk.
Like it doesn't matter how many papers I have. It doesn't matter how like my game. I could have like the flyest game. I could like but she could even like me. That's what's frustrating. From the other side, right? She could even like me, but her parents won't even let me be with her. So yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's what I love about the message in there. And I think that's what you convey a lot throughout the album is you look at both sides of the conversation. Because what that also showed me, like when I was listening to the song, is like, your frustrations are not the end all and be all of any conversation. So equally as much as I might feel like, yo, people hear me talk and they're like, why does this guy sound that way? You know what I mean? I've studied abroad, I've lived abroad, I've worked abroad. It's not something which I'm like super passionate about, but like, because of that, I will say things a certain way, which maybe is not the norm everywhere. But equally so, someone else will be looking at it from the other side. And at the end of the day, we both, I think the song ends on, say one thing that we both have in common is the fact that we were both made equal in God's eyes. And I think that is a very powerful statement. And that's kind of like a summary of what I think your body of work in Alinafe did. It's more than just bars. Absolutely. It's messages. Absolutely. And that's so powerful, man. Kudos to you.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. No, I was just gonna say, no, thanks. That's really just trying to look at both sides of the fence. And I've got friends from both sides of the fence. I've got friends who went to high school and they've had friends from high school. And high school, again, that's a term that it's kind of like we have to pick up to represent a certain type of people. But it is what it is, right? But then I also have friends who are equally talented who never had the privilege to go to those schools, who are also going to be marginalized just because they can't speak English a certain way. They can't and so they're not going to get that top job because exactly. And they're also frustrated because they're like, yo, you're a lawyer. I'm sure you know lawyers who are really, they know the Constitution like from the back of their head. Like they know the British Constitution, the American Constitution, and the Malawian Constitution, but they can't get those gigs because they don't, you know what I mean? So try to convey that.
And that's amazing. I think as a takeaway, that's something I think all of us need to do, is that there's so many times in this social media age where it's cancel culture and it's whoever types in all caps and whoever shouts the loudest. Those are the people that we have to listen to. But at the end of the day, we should not run away from understanding both sides of the story, because as much as sometimes it's painful and you don't want to confront it, it's only by confronting the thing you don't understand that you actually get to the truth. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we just live in our own little bubbles and we never actually gel. You know what I mean? Like, to take a last example from the song, imagine if the dude with all the papers and all the game actually was able to meet his high school sweetheart. Like, they would have a beautiful family. You know what I mean? But now look at them. busy saying men are trash and not being happy because they're not able to get past there. You know.
Don't get me started. That's a whole different episode, man. That's a whole different episode. Don't get me started. Yeah, for real.
So because of that, I guess I'll allow it. I'll allow it for another episode. I'm just gonna quickly jump in because there are a few things that some people sent in for me to give to you. And seeing as we're on your album, I thought this would be a perfect time to do it. So the first one is, every single conference, there's always a time when you ask someone, okay, let's have questions. And there's always that one person in the back who's like, mine is not a question, but more of a comment. And then they ramble for like 10 minutes. So the first question was not a question, but more of a comment. So Grace hit me up and she was like, she didn't say mine. She was like, it's a compliment for me. His musical art and gift is beyond amazing. And she put a lot of exclamation marks. I admire his intelligence and brilliance in his music. His album is 5 fire emojis. So that's from Grace. Genji wrote to me and said he wanted a freestyle, but he told me we're not going to freestyle. So I don't know. Are you going to freestyle? All right. And then the third one is from a guy on Twitter called I'm That Guy at Odyssey_MW. And he wanted to ask what was the inspiration behind the album, which I think you may have answered partially. And he also asked, can we expect a feature from Classic anytime soon?
Yeah. Classic is my guy though. I called him up. We've had like conversations. The thing is, being Classic, we're not like, I think he's from KP and I grew up in Chinyonga, for those of you guys who know Blantyre. So we never really like chopped it up, but with the music and everything, and I shouted him up in my intro, and he reached out actually, and he's just been like a homie. He's been retweeting my stuff. He's been sharing my album to his fan base. We've been chopping it up about stuff. He's a musical guy. That's the thing. Like we talk reggae, we talk Peter Tosh, we talk Male, we talk Wailers. He's just that type of guy. He's like, but for us, it's important to find something that we both are passionate about that has more meaning than just the things that we care about. And once we kind of find that middle place, then yeah, definitely. I'd really love to jump on a record with him. Otherwise, he's one of the top guys on my bucket list of who I'd want to work with.
What was your process in terms of finding the people that worked on your project? Because I have to say, like almost every single like vocalist or person that you brought on, it was like all hits. Like what exactly was the process to get to that?
Yeah, so as I said, I think conversation is the most important thing. Obviously I know George. I know him he's had me on his previous project, and I know him as just a brother. I know his brother as well, Shad, and so we have conversations about him living in the in the UK and then coming back and some of the struggles that he's had, and just to adapt. And I was abroad for a while as well, came back, and so for us it was a natural thing. And I'm an admirer of his sound as well. So I just wanted to bring somebody who complements my experience, but also gives me a different sound, because what George does, I can't do. I can never do. And so like he really raised the bar in terms of like my own creativity, the guitars that he does, the harmonies and stuff like that. And I just thought it made sense. Same thing with everybody on that record. They're coming in a place where they can do something better than me, because it doesn't make sense me featuring like another version of myself. You know what I mean? And it's a waste of bar, I think. But when you have somebody who can like enhance your sound, and everybody does that on the record. But again, the most important thing is all of those records came out of conversations, things that we both agreed upon way before we made it happen. So yeah, it's very easy to be like, hey, I like Ruby, let me call him up. And even this interview, I don't think this interview is fire if we don't have a conversation about stuff before. So that's just my working process.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear you. And bro, like another question, dude, who were we talking about on RT, man? Who was it? I need to know.
So that's I don't know, man. That was one of the earliest songs that I wrote, like 2 years ago even. But a lot of it is stuff that, to be honest with you, a lot of it is stuff that people said about me. Does that make sense? So obviously, high school used to be ratchet, did the thing, plaza, all of that. Got saved, and then kind of took a different route. Was just chilling with the Christian guys, and like really didn't want to interact with the heathens, as it were. So I kind of got a lot of feedback, and it wasn't direct, but it was like indirect feedback sometimes from some of my close friends that I grew up with, who were like, you know what, you switched up, namba matama, mango bangaza church, and stuff like that. So a lot of it is actually people telling me their piece. And what I wanted to do is like, okay, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I feel like being a Christian doesn't mean I should isolate my homies, right? Like, so I kind of just switched it. I just reversed it and said, if I was in the shoes of a guy who's feeling that way, like, why would I spit? And so I guess it's just like my low key apology to all of like my family and friends who I kind of treated that way, because I felt like I was better than them because, I found religion. Like, that's no way to I don't think that's true religion.
Man, that's so deep, bro. Like, I don't think many people have actually had that realization of, sometimes in chasing spirituality, you can ostracize people. And my understanding of the Bible, my understanding of who Jesus Christ was that he was found with what they called the pagans. He'd be found with the harlots and whatever, and he would preach to them. So he wasn't someone who ostracized himself from the crowd. And that's why I think the Pharisees had issues with him. And
you got to be careful, though.
What?
Yo, Ruby, you you got to be careful, because there's a really, really fine line. Like, if I'm chilling around Wandilo, 24/7, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it just becomes like, I'm chilling with you. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, yeah.
My point is that he was found with everyone, and he would talk to everyone. That doesn't mean that you should be in positions which are bad for you. You got what I mean? Like, you can't find me at a brothel, and I'm like, nah, I'm just like Jesus. Jesus was with everyone. No, I think it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a fine line. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that it's good that you at least you're at least saying that you took cognizance of the fact that you should be able to at least have a conversation with everyone. And you said, not just treat people like heathens, and now I can't be around you at all. There are lines. There's always lines in the sand for us to consider. But as you said, the more we understand each other, the better everything is. So I wanted to jump into a few other conversations which we need to have before time runs out on us. And the first one is technology. Obviously, that's something that you're into because you're a software engineer, right? So what exactly in tech are you seeing right now that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening. One of the things that I'm like really excited about, and I think is something that I'm hoping more people jump onto, is telling our stories, right? Like, I'm imagining like an Alinafe video game, right? Where instead of like just listening to my album, you're actually playing my character throughout his journey. Like, that's the sort of thing that I'm into now. Yeah, so I just feel like look, gaming is bigger than Hollywood and like the movie industry and the music industry combined. Like, that's how big gaming grosses, right? And yet a lot of the content, absolutely, you could do the math. A lot of the content that is in gaming has got very little with African culture. So we are like, and the special thing about gaming is if you could think Netflix as like, you sit back on your recliner chair and like it's a passive entertainment format, gaming is a very active version, right? Like, you are sitting, leaning forward, playing, engaging, and so it's encapsulating all your senses. And yet we don't have our culture in gaming, as it were. So all the games we play are like, Assassin's Creed, Final. Exactly. So imagine if you're playing a game of like Shaka Zulu against the other tribes. Like, just the amount of like, just the amount of historical content that you would be able to assimilate like subconsciously, and that would like lead towards a higher level of just meaning about yourself as a Black person, right? So that's the thing that I'm really excited about, is to be able to translate our stories into this medium. That's an amazing immersive medium, which I just feel like we don't really have enough content. Like, I imagine playing like a racing game in Ndirande. Do you know how fun that game would be?
Like, absolutely.
Oh, right.
So that's what I want
There'll
to
probably
see
be like
more
a
of
chicken
that.
flying across one of the race courses.
100%.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. No, that's I'm so inspired by that, because I mean that's one of the reasons why this podcast began, is because I just felt as though we're not having enough conversations, our own conversations amongst ourselves. It's like we consume so much media, and we consume so much stuff from the West. And in Malawi, it's like essay now, and all these other, like, where is the stuff for us? Where it's like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, man. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate coming on here. And I just want to, say for those guys who are listening, the album is on getalinafe.com. It's exclusively there for download. It's for free. Getalinafe.com is the name of the website. It's this website right here in the background. So if you click on download, you could go and download the whole album if you want. You could download an individual song, or you could just play. You could share. If you feel like donating, if you feel like the music touches you or touches a loved one, then you could definitely donate as well. And if you just want to keep that in your streaming playlist on like Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, you could go to the stream option, and we've got streams on every platform. So, and then also look out for some interesting projects that we're working from this album. So just like music videos and like some sessions and stuff like that we'll be definitely releasing soon. If you guys want to keep following and keep up to date with that, then you should definitely check me out on my socials. So like Liwu, Li_WOO is both my Twitter and my IG. And then you could also go check out Liwu Music on Facebook. And just thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Really feel blessed. And until next time. Peace.